This is Comic Picks by the Click.
Yeah, I'm your host, Jason Glick.
Hey, Jason Glick. What do you have on tap for us now?
Well, it's like this is kind of a weird one because, it's like it's going up the weekend before Fanime, but this would normally be like our Fanime podcast, but because reasons and all, it's like we're not actually doing it at the con this year. We're actually doing this in the past. So, and also this would normally be like another buried treasures of manga podcast, but if I'm being completely honest, I'm not sure if this one actually qualifies. I mean, it's got some interesting parts to it, but at the same time, in rereading it, it's like there's a lot of dullness and just kind of like regular, just like boring drama to go along with it, along with some genuinely interesting parts as the series, as the series went on. And like this series is called Eternal Sabbath. It's a it's a light science fiction series in the sense that it's basically meant to take place in the present day. Well, the present day of the year of our Lord 2002, when it was originally published in Japan, and it's from the mangaka Fuyumi Soryo. She is best known for creating this very popular series called Mars, which I did read, and it's good. And I remember that being good, like shojo soap opera drama. So when it was announced that Del Rey, basically, when like before Kodansha started their own U.S. publishing arm, they they first published their stuff through Tokyo Pop, then they went through Del Rey, and then they went and did it themselves. So Eternal Sabbath has it's like was one of the series that was published through the times when they were being licensed by Del Rey, and it's clear that whoever wanted to publish this on the U.S. end was a fan of Mars because well every just about every volume has a from the creator of Mars. It's like bit on the cover, but as what the series is actually about, well, it's about this guy named Shuro who we're introduced to in the first chapter, and we're told that he's basically a guy who can like see into and manipulate other people's minds. And the first chapter is basically like an extra length story. It kind of reads like a pilot episode in the sense that we're meant to like get an idea like what this guy's deal is, in the sense that hey, like what if we're gonna like do like a series, like, if this is like one shot is received positively enough, that hey, we'll do a series about this. And it's an interesting story about it's like about him, just like going through life. It's like and just dealing with the fact that hey, he knows how to react to everyone by it's like by reading their minds. But at the same time, if something ever goes wrong, he can just move things around their mind, and hey, like no harm, no foul. But like the tension of the story comes when it's like when he walks in this one family and finds out that one of their sons like has a like ha- like has an issue, and since he's being bullied by these kids. It's like and he's got to figure out how to deal with it. In fact, like the bullies, it's like are also just trying working to like eventually frame him for this like act of assault that they're about to perpetrate. So Shuro, it's like does this thing, finds out what the bullies are up to, and and again deals with them. It's like in fact it's kind of interesting how he does this because like the ringleader, he basically like imagines him, like has the ringleader imagine himself being burned alive, and while he isn't actually burned, it's like he imagines he is, so like the scars appear on his it's like on his skin as if they were. And while this basically like solves the problem of the kid being framed for assault, he's still like feeling guilt over this other incident where he was it's like where the bullies beat up a homeless guy who was trying to save him. So while so after that, Shuro basically goes into his mind, takes away his hate, but basically leaves his like his feelings of shame and disgust, and says you're gonna have to live with this. And then he basically like goes in to find another family to live with. that's basically the status quo, like when the series starts, and he's living with this one family. It's like, well, basically a like an elderly couple where it's like where their son, it's like their son and daughter-in-law were killed in an accident along with their grandchild. And Shuro is basically like walked into their life as Ryosuke Akiba, the grandchild, because he's basically rewired their minds to think that, oh, he's actually the kid. The kid actually survived, and he's been living with them all this time. And it's no harm, no foul. But at the same time, like the series also shifts perspective initially to this like to this like to this other to our other protagonist, Mine Kuyo. She is a she is a like a brain researcher. Yeah, it's like there's a probably more scientific way to put this, but she's basically basically investigating how like how people's brains work. And like one in the case where like the kid imagined himself being burned alive from the initial chapter, that's something that she's like investigating as well. But it isn't until like a random occurrence when like she and her friend Kimiko are just walk it's like walking to lunch one day, and they see a guy just run up with a bat and just brain some dude on the middle of the street. Like they're just wondering, like, it's like a crazy act of violence, which all more shocking because it's happening in Japan. But at the same time, she noticed, like, Mine notices, like, there's this one guy walking by who, you know, while this is happening, and when he gets some blood on him, he just like looks and goes, "No, this is just." He's just this is annoying, man. And that's actually Shuro. So, because it turns out that while Mine is like like sees this and she wonders like, what the hell is going on here? Why is this guy just like like seeing like treating this like act of violence and this blood getting on him like it's nothing? Well, it turns out that while most people are susceptible to Shuro's abilities, there are certain people like Mine who are not. And that's basically sets up the initial tension of the series, like as it's ongoing. Like in terms of, like what it's like how's Mine going to react to this like person, like after she finds out that what's that, hey, there's someone who's got some like special psychic abilities. And well, like um Shiro's response to this, like after finding out that, oh, you're one of the people who I can't affect with my mind, well, I'm just going to go ahead and ingratiate myself into your life. And his actions here just kind of feel like weirdly sociopathic in the sense that that he's basically like gone and like well, gone and that basically made it so that everyone in her research group basically knows that, hey, it's like why, like, Mina, why are you so surprised that Ryosuke is here? Like he's a good guy. It's like we've known him for like all this time and all. So it's like it's weird that like that this is happening. But especially since this is a this is very much feels like a has a shoujo manga vibe to it, in the sense you get the feeling that, oh, well, it's like it's like you got the like the bookish researcher who's like is more concerned with how the human brain works than it's like then like why it actually than why the human heart works the way it does, that kind of thing. And you've also got this like it's like slightly a sociopathic guy who can just like bend other people's minds to his own will, but he can't bend hers. There's that kind of appeal right there. So you get that kind of feeling that this is where the series is going. And yeah, it does go there, but at the same time we learn more about what's going on with Shuro. It's like towards the end of the first volume when we're introduced to Sakaki. It's like a like a like an immunologist who worked on the it's like on the secret government like operation that basically like brought Shuro to life. Because as he tells it, like Shuro is basically an artificial human that was created after their research found a specific gene that basically like they believe was going to be the key to eternal life, what they call the eternal Sabbath. And so they basically like then they're able to it's like create Shiro in the lab, and they're going to experiment on him. But at the same time, they also created another version of him, basically like a backup, that they could use for spare parts in case something went wrong. This version they called Isaac. And if you're thinking, hey, wait a second, do you mean like Abraham's son in the Bible? Yes, exactly like Abraham's son in the Bible. The thing is, though, is that while they were well aware of like the of Shuro's regenerative properties, they were not aware of his telepathic properties, and that turned out to be a big problem because eventually like it's like Isaac's it's like the combination of Isaac's powers and Shuro's powers basically led to chaos in the lab and caused them to both and caused basically like everyone in the lab to like either die or go crazy, and led eventually led to Isaac escaping along with Shuro. Now, Shuro has basically been content to wander amongst humans and just marvel at how weird and funny we are. It's like and how our brains work and how he's just able to just mess with them in order to satisfy his own curiosity. Isaac, on the other hand, it's like is extremely bitter about his fate because he knew from basically from birth that he was basically only here for spare parts, and he it's like and he and no one actually cared for him. So he's basically out. He obviously has no sympathy for humanity and is basically just all out to just amuse himself. As long as he can. In fact, like when we're first introduced to him, like in the real world, he's basically we're told that he's basically like killed one kid and assumed the kid's place. It's like in it's like in their family. And for the first 4 volumes, it's basically just this back and forth between it's like like Shuro, just saying like what do I it's like why do I have to help you? It's like like Isaac's not really that big a threat. It's like and it's like I don't see it having any responsibility for this, even though it turns out he actually does. But but basically goes back and forth between you know it's like Sakaki trying to like ask secure like Shuro's help, them like getting into conflicts with Isaac, who is basically has no problems with like say manipulating like a squad of police in order to oh take them out when they come looking for him. And also there's the whole budding romance between like Shuro Shuro and Mine. It's like in the sense that it's like he's like the it's like handsome bad boy psychic, and she's the bookish scientific researcher. It's like and yeah, where this is going, and it's like on one hand, it's like it may seem kind of like weird because like you've got Shuro like like just like he's like I said, he's got that whole sociopathic like look to him, and since he's got no problem with just manipulating people like in order to make his presence seem normal in the world, but at the same time like Sorio basically she does kind of seem to like realize this, and like it is discussed in the context of the series, and it does kind of end his whole like manipulating people like for his own ends is kind of like backed off on a bit. It's especially with when it comes into contest with his adopted family because his granddad is basically suffering from cancer, and it's basically and he's shown to be genuinely concerned about what's happening to him, and so like there's that whole like what's going on here, like, why do I feel concerned about someone that I didn't actually grow up with? And Mine points out that yeah, it's like he's like you actually do care about him because because you've made an effort here. And it's like that's and on one hand, like I can understand where this is going, but these first 4 volumes, I was rereading this, and I'm thinking like, you know, why was I so into this series in the past? I mean, it's like it's I wouldn't say it's anything special. It's not. In fact, it's like all kind of like straightforward, like science fiction drama. I mean, like there's not a whole lot that's different being done here. But then you get then you get into volume 5 and forward, and things start getting more interesting and dramatic, and shockingly timely considering what's been going on in the world recently. Um, because one of the other characters in this supporting character in the series is an elementary school girl named Yuri, and it's revealed early on that her mother is abusing her, and it's like, and while this is like initially put on the back burner for a bit, comes it's put on the front, like starting with volume 5 when because Yuri is actually friends with Isaac, because Isaac has been killing problem students like in her school, and Yuri is just kind of like, what, I don't understand like why you're upset about this, because he's just like taking out bad people. It's like, and Beanie is trying to explain to, like, to this young girl, like, hey, murder is bad, and it's then she's having the kind of the sexual troubles that you'd understand from this. But things take a turn when Minnie like confronts Yuri's mother about Yasuo. It's like about the abuse, and it's a weird scene because I can't tell if this is like a cultural thing or if it's just like a dramatically expedient thing. But Yasuo, but when Mine confronts like Yasuo about the abuse, so Yasuo basically gives her like her life story and tells her that it's like, I understand, like, I know what you're saying, but at the same time, it's like, my dad beat me, and it's like, and I just have no, and as a result, I've had no real ability to like form a bond with my daughter. It's like, and also like people like you who've just had like a good life and think things should be like they're like a certain way. It's like, well, I kind of hate you as well. And she's got a point there, but the whole scene just kind of really reads just like really weird in the sense that you're like like everyone's like being completely honest about their feelings, and there's no subterfuge at all about this. But it eventually leads to a point where Yasuo realizes, she's like what like that her current situation is just like no good for herself, for her daughter, or it's like, or her marriage in general. So she does make an effort to seek treatment, and in the timely bit about the story, well, it's also revealed that she's pregnant with a daughter from her with the new daughter from her husband. But at the same time, she realizes that hey, if I am not a good mother right now, and if I, focus on giving birth to this new daughter, it's like there's no guarantee that it's like that I wouldn't make the same mistakes that I did, like with this new daughter that I did with Yuri. In fact, I need to focus on being a good mother to Yuri above all else. And you know what? I really can't argue with that logic right there. I mean, I know some people are going to have issue with her decision, because she basically does make a decision to get an abortion, and it's like, and that's it's a hard decision on her part, but at the same time, it's like, you understand that that she had the choice to make, and and it was her, and like, she did what she thought was going to be best for her family. Now, the interesting thing is that Isaac has been, hovering around the edge of the story, like, while Sakaki and Shiro like me did make an attempt to try and take him out early on. Isaac is also like has an effort to try and um like let people like just say do what they want. Like when like when he encountered Mine's friend Kimiko, and he uncovered like the hidden jealousy that was in her mind. Well, he just basically like let turned Kimiko into like a knife wielding murderer. It's like at one point. Same goes for this one detective who is investigating a lot of the crimes like associated with with like Shura and Isaac's actions. When he finds out that, oh, this one guy who who killed like the detective's partner, like was going to get away with things again. Well, he just made it so that that like the detective was able to take things into his own hands. But so when he comes around to Yasuo, he figures, oh well, like Mine is sticking her nose into things again, and like, let's see what I can do here. It's like, oh, you did what? Now, it's probably worth noting that a kid who realized from the fact that he was from the day moment he was able to cogitate that he was meant to be spare parts. When he finds out that this woman decided to have an abortion, you can probably guess what it's like what his it's like what his instincts were. And that's where the series actually does some interesting stuff in the sense that I was not in fact, I'd forgotten a lot about this series, before I started rereading it. And so once we found out, once I saw what Isaac was did here, I mean, it's on one hand, it's rough, but it's kind of like I was not expecting that. Oh, and I was also not expecting things to turn out the way they did with Yuri as well. And it's like, and then the way the things go when Mine, decides to like step things up when she finds that she's got the means to maybe take Isaac out, for good in the end. The this so there's a lot of stuff that's a lot more interesting in the back half like of the series than there is in the front half, and and because like it's because like I said, there's the surprises. There was stuff I was not expecting to see. It's like even though it's like I'd read the series initially, but I'd forgotten a lot of it beforehand, like before rereading it. And then there was the final volume where there's for whatever reason, like I remembered like there's some bits in there's one specific plot point in the final volume that I remembered specifically, but forgot how exactly how it played out. So it's kind of I mean, if you're familiar with like genre logic, then you'll see. Oh, wait a second! I know what's going on here. It's like I can see what the real twist is, but it but the final volume basically has it's just like a big showdown between Mine, it's like and Isaac. It's like it's like in her it's like it's like in her mind, and the big issue there is that there's a big reveal about Mia's history that well kind of reads it was played more for shock value than anything else because it's not oh wow, this causes me to reflect on things on what's gone before differently. Like it's just kind of like, oh wow, yeah, that's wow, that's surprising, that's rough, but wow, it's like how does this actually change what's gone on before? Because it feels like it was brought up just to give some kind introduce some like ambiguity between like Mine's like attempts to like stop Isaac once and for all. So in the end, this is a series that I'm like I say I'm honestly kind of conflicted about. Like I'm not honestly like sure whether or not like this warrants like a buried treasure of manga um like seal of approval because like to the first half of the series is just kind of like fairly standard you know like science fiction hand wringing about who like what do we do. It's like it's like like when someone's got like the power to read minds and like when they're trying to like use that for their for bad means but they've been but they have kind of like good reasons to or they've been conditioned to like up to this point. So but then like there's some interesting stuff, timely stuff. It's like in the back half. So it's kind of yeah, so it's kind of difficult to say, like whether or not this is something that I would really feel confident recommending. It's like in terms of like this whole like buried treasures of manga like thing that I've like cultivated over the past several years. I mean, on one hand, it's like I'd like to think that that it would that like that it'd be nice if this like the series was available, but hey, let's see. It's like if it is still available, but I uh I really don't think so. No. Let's see, according to Amazon, it is like there are like some of the later volumes. It's like, oh no, none of the none of the previous volumes are it's like are even like given like decent buying options. It's like on it. It's like on Amazon. And let's see, as far as Comixology, because you know, because Kodansha has it's like has reprinted a lot of the Del Rey stuff, like over it's like over the years, but nope, no, it looks like, oh man, it's like if you're gonna like if you wanted to buy this series, then you're going to have to shell out for however much they're asking. Well, okay, Volume 1 is going for used on Amazon for like $5.48. Now let's see. Oh, let's see what is Volume 8 going for? $41 used. So there you go. It's like I
Is it a
can't
real
say
treasure then?
yeah, it's like I guess I'd have to like price this out. And I guess I maybe I won't give this to Book Off if I decide to sell it, because I don't know. It's like my shelf space in my library is very, very precious. So it's like I kind of wonder if I like do I want to like hold on to this, like even though it's just kind of like all right. I mean, it's like several years ago, it's like I would have said absolutely, but at the same time, I mean, the crunch continues continues like as I get more and more stuff, month after month. So it's so on one hand, like I'd like to say that the series is worth seeking out, but at the same time, I don't know. It's like I just can't quite say that you need to seek this out. I mean, it's not bad. I can definitely say that, but at the same time, I can understand why it hasn't been licensed rescued like after all these years.
Okay. So, with all that said, then, um, what are you going to be talking about next time? Do you know?
Oh man, well, I don't know exactly what I'm talking about next time. I mean, I've got the Breaking Case of Emergency podcast re-review of Sweet Tooth that I've had on my radar for a while. But I can tell you what I'm doing for the podcast after this, though.
Okay.
That is likely going to involve a return of our good friend Steve, as we talk about the resolution of the first arc of Chainsaw Man. So
All right, then.
that's like I said, that's podcast after next. Next time it's gonna be a surprise.
A surprise. All right. We'll catch you next time on Comic Picks by the Glick.
All right, laters.